3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, I'm back here again today. I'm teacher Fabi Montanari. Welcome to our Papo de Teacher special for this Semana do Inglês para o Trabalho. Estou aqui hoje, de novo, com vocês, fazendo parte desse programa de imersão em Inglês para o Trabalho, que a gente começou na segunda-feira, e várias aulas que estão programadas aí. Lembrando que muitas aulas já aconteceram, duas aulas, aula 1 e aula 2 já foram ao ar. Vocês que estão inscritos na Semana do Inglês para o Trabalho, vocês já receberam o link para essas aulas. É importante que vocês assistam, porque tudo isso faz uma sequência. Hoje, o assunto que eu estou trazendo hoje, ele é referente à aula 2, que foi ao ar ontem, tá? Porque uma dúvida muito comum é com relação a como o aluno pode aprender inglês mais rápido. Um dos pontos é ampliar a base de vocabulário. Mas como fazer isso? Porque ampliar a base de vocabulário de qualquer maneira pode não te levar para lugar nenhum. A gente tem que coordenar a maneira como isso é feito para que você consiga ter um resultado. Porque se isso não acontecer da maneira adequada, você só vai ter aprendido um monte de palavras. É por isso que muitas vezes eu sou bastante reticente com relação a decorar a lista de palavras e de uma maneira que não esteja alinhada. Lembra que eu falei da bússola do aprendizado na aula 2? Quem estava aqui e viu a aula 2 aqui, quem já conseguiu assistir, se não conseguiu assistir ainda, assista, porque elas vão sair do ar assim que essa Semana do Inglês para o Trabalho terminar, tá? Elas saem do ar imediatamente. Então, aproveitem para assistir. Se vocês não assistiram ainda hoje, assistam, porque eu vou colocar, vocês vão entender um pouco melhor essa questão da bússola. Mas hoje eu quero trabalhar com vocês. Vocês estão me ouvindo bem? Eu queria saber se vocês estão me ouvindo bem. Coloquem aqui. Yes, teacher, I can hear you. Se você chegou aqui agora e ainda não sabe o que é a Semana do Inglês para o Trabalho, a Semana do Inglês para o Trabalho é um evento especial que eu faço, antecipando, para vocês entenderem um pouco mais o que é falar inglês no trabalho e, obviamente, daqui a alguns dias a gente vai ter opção, uma janela de abertura e de inscrição para a nova turma de imersão em inglês para o trabalho. Na aula 3, que vai ao ar amanhã, eu vou explicar melhor sobre isso também, tá? Então é importante que vocês assistam, mas a aula 3 sozinha não vai ter muito sentido, por isso que o conteúdo foi dividido em 3 aulas. Então vocês conseguem assistir de uma maneira bem tranquila e tem as atividades propostas. The sound's okay, Adriana put here. Thank you for your feedback. So shall we start? I forgot to open my file, but you have your file there. Who has the basic guide? Yes, teacher, I can hear you. Very good. I'm going to open the file here. Just for a second. Basic guide for presentations. Okay, here it is. So, in here, basic guide for presentations, have you seen it? We have every time we're going to organize a presentation, it's important for you to script what you have to say. And of course, this script is going to make a sandwich. You have the opening, and then you have what you have to say, and then you have the closing part, the final part. And there are some techniques for you to move from the opening into the closing in an appropriate way. Not to be informative, but to make people connect to what you have to say. So we have some sentences, some key sentences that help you to do that. For example, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sentences. We have general sentences for you to use, and it helps a lot. And if you want to understand the learning compass, what are you going to do? If you have your guide there with you, we have the first section is starting a presentation. Hello everyone, or good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's good to see you all here. What else? How can you open a presentation? What different possibilities you have to start a presentation? Can anybody tell me what other possibilities you have for that? Other ways. Let me see if on YouTube people. Oh, yeah. How do I say your name? Van Twill? One Twill? If I read in English, it's one. If I read in Portuguese, maybe one on YouTube. And okay, so what are other ways, other possibilities for you to start a presentation um, instead of this way? Where is it? I close it. I can. Ah, no, it's here. Hi, folks. First of all, yeah, hi, folks. First of all, folks is a very good word, but it's kind of informal. Okay, if it's a very formal presentation, you need to take care. But if you're talking to people at the same level in the company, or people that you know, or you have this possibility to talk to refer to them as folks, it's okay. But for example, if it's the executive committee in your company, folks, I'm not sure folks would be the most appropriate word. Okay, I wouldn't use it myself. But first of all, okay, we are beginning. So hello everyone, hi everyone, good morning. The famous ladies and gentlemen, and here, pay attention to this. Gentlemen. I want you to repeat that, okay? Because people tend to say gentlemen, because of the interference of Brazilian. Oh, I have hair here. Because of the interference of our mother tongue. Como que você fala? Gentleman or gentleman? Gentleman. You need to focus. You need to repeat to say gentleman. Okay? Gentleman. Why? Because this syllable, gentle, it's not gently. It happens again in bottle. You don't say bottle. You say bottle. You say table. The same way you need to say gentle, gentleman, gentleman. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, you can say that, although it's more formal. So, uh, you can move from an informal communication, hi folks, to a very formal communication, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you can move from one to the other. It's possible, depending on the audience. I always want to emphasize that there is no right or wrong. What you have is what's the appropriate communication to refer to your audience. Okay, you know your audience. You should know your audience better than anybody. But then you have some possibilities depending on who you are talking to. Okay. The second part here, we have introducing yourself. How can you introduce yourself um, to the people? If you are, for example, if you are working a global team, maybe you have people that you don't know or you don't work together every day. So people might not know you. So how can you introduce yourself? Here in the basic guide we have, let me introduce myself. My name is Fabiani, and I'm here to report our numbers for the last quarter. Okay, so in this case, let me introduce myself. What else can you say instead of let me introduce myself? Let's see if on YouTube we have other answers. Normally I use hello everyone, good morning or good afternoon can be too. Sound of V in Portuguese. Okay, very good. It's a different name. Um, and another important thing about starting a presentation is that what's the difference between good evening and good night? An idea? Good evening and good night. What's the difference? Good evening is when you want to say hello. Good evening would come in the box of hello. Good night is bye bye. Okay? So if I'm yeah, Adriana said good evening is when I arrive. That's it. Good evening is the same of hello, good evening. And when I want to say bye bye at night, of course, I say good night. Good evening. Oh, Rodrigo put here. Good evening. Hi there. Okay. So next sentence. Here we had this, let me introduce myself. Other possibilities for this, we have, I'd like to introduce myself. I would like to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fabiani, and I'm here to report the sales results from last quarter. Can be. So when you map these possibilities, it becomes easier. And what happens in the program? Some students started writing to me, teacher, I want to know how to get into the program. How can I become officially a student? And of course, I'm going to explain this in details tomorrow, in the class tomorrow. You're going to see that. But it's important that I emphasize that in the program, we have more than, I think, 500 sentences like that. I have already mapped sentences, possibilities, everything different. So, and then we have this strategy to work with each of them slowly, okay, week per week, day by day, okay? So introducing yourself, we can use these possibilities here. Next item in your basic guide, giving your position or your function or your department. You need to introduce yourself and say, who are you speaking, which department you belong to, okay? So as some of you know, I'm the head of purchasing department, and I'm here today to talk about this. And I'm responsible for, let me put more here. Is it better? I think. No, but if I put here, I have a problem with the, 1 second, people. I have a problem positioning my cell phone here on the screen. I think this is a better possibility. Mm, from company, my function is, you put here, my function is A, but there is a possibility for you, instead of using my function, or you can say, I'm responsible for controlling sales results. I'm responsible for purchasing area, and you can use that, okay? I'm responsible for, I'm in charge of is another possibility too, okay? You can use that. These are some possibilities. Any other people would you like to say? Now, introducing the topic and explaining why it is important for your audience. And this is one of the key points in your presentation. You see that the first 2 or 3 sentences are very basic. And then you need to explain your audience why they need to be there. Why do I need you? For example, if we work together, send you the invite for you to join me in a meeting, it's not because it's not a party. Okay, when we send an invite for a meeting, it's because I need you in my, or at least I think I need you. So then in this situation, I need to explain to you why I need you to be here in my meeting, even if you don't want to participate. So today's topic is of particular interest, or it is of particular need to all of you, because we need to end this project. I don't know. Okay. So today's topic is of particular interest to all of you because, and then you complete. How would you do that in other ways? Any suggestions, possibilities for that? No? Of course, if you're not reading the file, maybe it's more difficult for you to follow. But then I'm going to leave this live open for a few hours, and then you can watch later after you get the uh, after you get the, if you haven't downloaded the basic guide yet, you can do that. Okay. Next, um, timing. It's important to say about timing. I don't know if you're used to do that, but I like to when I like when you talk in English here, teacher. Thanks. You're welcome. And I like English too. The situation is that sometimes I have meetings with the team, and not teaching. I have meetings sometimes, and I finish a class, I end a class, and then I start a meeting with someone that's related, for example, with marketing, the marketing team, and then I start talking English, and the guy looked at me the other day and said, "Fabi, can you speak in Portuguese with me?" And I said, "Okay, okay, okay, I will." But it's fun. I prefer speaking English. So timing, a good way for you to say about how long your presentation will last. Pay attention to this. Junior said last. Last is último. Okay? Last is último. But last as a verb is durar. Durar. So, how I can say, teacher or students, how long will your class last? Quanto tempo vai durar a sua aula? Last. Okay? I can say, oh, my presentation will last around 15 minutes. Or my presentation will, I like this. My presentation will take no longer than 15 minutes. No longer than. I like it too. So my presentation will last, or my presentation will take no longer than, and then you estimate the time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Okay? What else? Any other suggestions would you like to share here? You can write and then we come back, okay? I know there is a delay in the comments here. I can only see it a few minutes or a few seconds at least later. But if you make a comment and then we come back, okay? About questions. How and this is a situation that I usually recommend my students when I'm helping students to get prepared for a presentation. This is something that may interrupt your thoughts. And so what I usually recommend, if you're a presenter, you can choose to be interrupted at the moment you're speaking, or you can choose not to be interrupted, and then um, you open for questions in the end of the presentation. If you are very confident and secure, maybe you can open for questions during the presentation, along the presentation. But if you are not confident enough yet, and because the question is, teacher, what if they ask me a question that I don't know how to answer? I'm going to forget the whole presentation. So my recommendation is, don't open for questions during your presentation. Just go for it in the end of the presentation. So there will be time for questions at the end of my presentation, okay? So this is a good way for you to control the moment, especially if you're nervous, okay? There will be time for questions at the end of my presentation. Questions? Now, structuring. It's important for you to inform your audience, to let your audience know how you have divided your presentation, what they can expect, because the audience is also nervous or anxious. You may be anxious about giving the presentation, giving the talk in another language. You may be nervous about that. But the audience is nervous and anxious to understand everything you're going to talk about. So if you, by experience, if you explain how you have divided or how you have structured your presentation, then the audience tend to be less anxious and wait and not to interrupt you. Okay? So you can say, I've divided my presentation into two main parts. For example, in part one, we'll talk about the results, the sales results from last semester. And in part two, we'll talk about the budget for next year, maybe. Okay? If you're talking about sales. And then we come to, if you have other variations or questions about that, you can write to me, okay? And then we come for we come to the moment of sequencing the presentation. And remember I said in the presentation that when you introduce the topic and explain why it's important for the audience is the first key moment in your presentation. And the second is knowing how to sequence, to have a logical order in what you're saying. And for this, we have the connectors, and we need to use them. For example, what is a connector? So is a connector. There are many other synonyms for that you can use, not only so. Therefore, then, there are more, but I gave you 3. Instead of using so all the time, try to use synonyms for it. This is the compass. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to take your audience to? So when you say, so let's go to the first part of my presentation, and then you give your talk about this content. And then you can move to, now that we have covered part 1, let's move on to part 2. And then you move on to part 2. These keywords, they're essential for a good communication and to have your thought and the audience flowing into what you want to, into the message you want to share, into the message you want to spread. Okay? Now, and pay attention if you do that every time you're speaking English. I remember I had a student, he was an intermediate student, a good speaker, but he was addicted to repeating so. So, 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 so. And every time he said so, I started giving synonyms for him. This is the compass working in practice. So. Every time so, I said, okay, Marcia, you are not going to say so anymore. You're forbidden. But teacher, it's possible to use so here. It's possible, but you are not going to use so until you learn 10 different other possibilities. Oh, teacher, come on. Yes. So then I got a yellow paper. I got a yellow paper. I got my marker, the ones I use for the board back there. I got the red marker, and I wrote so in capital letters on the paper. I crossed it, and I had it every time I was going to teach this student. I put here in front of me. And every time he said so, I'm going to do, I don't have the yellow paper now, but I have something similar. Where's my pen? I have so many notes here that I need to organize my desk. But then something I did, so. And then I did like that, so. It's upside down, yeah, it's inverted here, the image. Then I said, so it's not possible. So every time he said so, I used to do that. And then he said, so I used to do that. If you're working by yourself and if you're studying by yourself, in the course, we have techniques to control that, okay? So once you get into the course and you participate in the live classes, I have live classes with the students from the course every week. I like that. And once you are in the course, I have some techniques to do it online with the students. But if you're speaking by yourself, or if you're getting prepared for something, get a post and put it on your screen, in the margins, in the borders of your screen, and then you put so, and then you cross, because every time you look there, you are going to remember that you cannot say so. You decided not to use so because you need to increase your vocabulary basis, and you're going to find synonyms for so. You're going to do. You're going to choose other options, but not so anymore. Okay. If this is your case, I'm just giving an example that you can adapt to your need. Okay, let me see here on YouTube. I came. There is Van Twiel is writing here. Normally, I describe in the second slide the topics or agenda. This is good. To describe is one thing. To have the support of the slides for the presentation is one thing. But What are you going to say? You know, the voice over the slide. What are you going to say? So these sentences they refer to what you're going to say. I'm considering that you have a very beautiful presentation, PowerPoint. I cannot do a very beautiful presentation, but I know people. Maybe you are the person that prepare very beautiful presentations, PowerPoint. I can't, but maybe if you are, okay, so you put the agenda there, you put the topics there, but what you are going to say, how you are going to communicate that speaking. That's what I mean here. Okay. Mm, I didn't understand what Rodrigo put here. I same, Rodrigo. If you can let me know, I really didn't get. Say if you want to say eu também ou aqui também, mesmo aqui, you say same here, okay? Same here. Aqui também acontece isso, same here, okay? Next, where's my file? So sequencing is some most important skill that you need to develop in order to communicate in a confident way. Always choose, for example, here today is very hot. So imagine a very basic speaker will say, it's very hot today. I opened the window. Mm, a more a more fluent communication would be, as it's very hot today, I opened the window. As is a connector, but an inversion. As it's very hot today, I opened the window. Or I opened the window because it's very hot today. Okay? Other possibility. Because it's very hot, I decided to open the window. Or I had to open the window. So if you're very basic, you are going to use short sentences and maybe not connected. The more you learn, the more it becomes easier for you to connect these ideas and use this sequencing and these connectors. So for presentations, you need to have the sequence for your audience to understand. I shared with the students. I'm going to share. I'm going to find it. If I find it, I'll send it to you tomorrow. I need to take notes here. There is a video, a very nice video I'm going to send to the students after the class tomorrow for presentations. I found the other day, I sent with the students from the last group, but I can share with you. I'll let you know about that, okay? So that's it. Luis put here, I watch live for testing my listening, always easy understanding because rhythm of, yes, good. And this is really good for you to practice. Edu said, I agree with you. Good to know. Same here. Thanks. That's it. I'm just writing the comments, okay, people, on YouTube and on Instagram here. Now we're getting the final part of this file here. Indicating the end of your talk. I'm getting to the end of my talk. If you have any questions, I'll be more than pleased to answer all of them. I'm getting to the end of my presentation, or this is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions or if you need any further details, I'll be more than pleased to answer all of them. Okay? Easy or difficult? So, in this way, you have the basic guide, and from the basic guide, it works as a compass. What variations can I have for this situation here? How can I use it? And there is the more basic possibility and the advanced possibility. What do we do inside the course, inside the program? Because it takes more time. It doesn't happen overnight. What do I do? I help students to understand where they are in this line. If this is a timeline or an evolution timeline from where you are to where you want to go. in different possibilities. So all this, the practices we have, the practical exercises, they they, they aim to help you that in this way. And then we have the feedback sessions, and then I can read what you wrote, and I can write to you, for example, as Rodrigo said, and said, what did you mean here? The same thing that I did here, but in a deeper way. The same thing I put here. When the student said, I saying, and then I try to understand, what does he mean by this? Sometimes it's impossible to understand, but sometimes I have a clue of what he wants to say. And then I said, if you want to say this, then we have a better possibility. Let's move on to that. And this is what I say when we are not going to have, mm, for example, it's not like an English course. It's more like a program, because in a course, I have all the classes predetermined. I have all the classes scheduled, mapped, and everything. In a program, I'm going to understand what you need, so I can offer the solution for what you need, not for what I want to teach. In a course, I teach what I want. In a program, I'll teach what you need, what I see that you need. It's different. In class three, this is a topic for class three. Okay, you're going to understand this better in class three. I'm not sure if you could get the idea. I think we covered everything that we have here in this basic guide, but this is the idea. I would like to read your comments in this class number 2, or here, that I'm going to save there for you. And I'd like to know if you have any further questions. Otherwise, we are done for today, and then tomorrow we'll come back. Anything else? So, people, watch class number 2. Let me see another thing here. Let me just check. Okay, go watch class number 2. It's there. Everything's working well. If you have questions, just let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And it was really good being here with you today again. And that's it. Bye, everybody, then.